Well, hello chaps, it's Commodore Graham here. This is just a quick tutorial on how to set up your mic volume correctly if you've got a Blue Yeti. These instructions, they sort of work for other microphones as well, but the Blue Yeti is the focus right here. So, what you want to be able to do first is monitor how loud your microphone is, so that you can see the volume of the things that you're saying up here, for instance. Now, the program that I'm using is called Audacity, it's free and open source. Just Google Audacity and you'll be able to find, download, and install it. Once you have, go to the microphone options, select your microphone. It may already be selected. I've got this set on mono because what's coming out of the microphone is in mono, so there's no point in recording in stereo. And right here, you have the recording volume. Now, this is the same thing as the sound settings here. Like if I went into the settings for the microphone, properties, levels, see it says 77 here, which is what I happen to have it set at. That's the correct level for me. And if I mouse over this, you can see it says the recording volume is 77. So you don't have to go into your Windows sound options. You can just do this directly from inside Audacity. Now, if you look at the monitoring, you can see that maybe the average volume of me talking is somewhere around minus 18 decibels. And that's where you want it. And you want the loudest peaks to be at about 6 decibels. And as you can see, there's a little line here which shows you where the peak is. And it's around 6 decibels. If I talk a little bit louder, then maybe it'll almost get up to 3, something like that. The main thing is to make sure that it never, ever gets past about there, even when you're really loud. Because if it manages to get all the way up to 0, then the sound will be distorting, and you don't want that at all. Let's just record a little bit of a snippet here. By the way, the sound that you're hearing at the moment it's on-the-fly processed audio from OBS, which is the software that I'm using to record. You can see I have a bunch of filters that I'm using to record the audio, to process the audio into how you're hearing it. But I couldn't get good results with that unless I had the microphone audio set up right. So if we record a little bit, you can see that actually it looks pretty quiet. It's very far away from peaking. But that's completely fine because if you're anything like me, then what you'll be doing is processing the audio afterwards to deal with that problem of it being quiet. But that's a topic for another video. Now, when it comes to my actual settings, on the Blue Yeti itself, like actually the controls physically on the microphone, I have the gain set to the lowest it will go. Because if you have it... Wait, let's get this back. Because that's all you need. Like I'm about, I don't know, I'm maybe about 3 inches from the microphone right now, and I'm talking relatively loudly. Because of that, you don't really need to add any gain with the microphone, and if you did, you'd be likely to end up with distortion and such like. So not only do I have the sound on the microphone turned down, the gain on the microphone turned down as low as it will go, I don't even have the Windows volume set as high as it will go. As you can see, it's at 77 for me. That may vary for you. The recording mode I have on the microphone, which is the knob next to the gain control, just above the gain control, that has 4 different options. I've got it on cardioid because that way you'll get the least amount of extraneous noise from the surroundings. You probably already know this. The cardioid setting is the 3rd setting. It's the one where the icon for it, the little symbol, looks kind of like a heart. Hence the term cardioid. It's just sort of the pattern in which the microphone's picking up sound. You won't necessarily have the Windows volume set at the same level that I do. Even if you're speaking from exactly the same distance from the mic that I am, even if your voice is exactly, excuse me, exactly like mine and exactly as loud as mine, your Blue Yeti might be slightly different because it's made up of electronic components and there's some slight variation in the values of the components, you know, like the resistors and the capacitors and stuff. So different Blue Yetis might have different loudnesses at exactly the same settings. It's probably not a big difference, but there probably is a difference. So the main thing is that you adjust this slider until it looks in the monitoring settings here that the recording level is hovering around -18 and only peaking somewhere around -6. And if you end up saying something really loudly, maybe it inches almost to -3. And that's what's going to give you a good basis for the sound. It's going to make sure nothing distorts. Basically, you want it to be as loud as possible without distorting, and this is pretty much how to do it. Now, when it comes to how you process the audio in order to get rid of noise, make it louder, make the volume levels more even, that'll be for another video. But the other thing that I would, well, two things that I would mention that are a very good idea. One, buy a pop filter, because that will prevent your P's and B's and breath sounds from being too obnoxious in the microphone. It blocks all of that. It blocks essentially wind coming from your mouth. The other thing, I've distracted myself here. Oh yes, the other thing that I would possibly suggest, especially if you get sort of a hum in the microphone that isn't really supposed to be there, like a hum or a whine. Sometimes it's low-pitched, sometimes it's high-pitched, sometimes it's a mixture of the two. Then it can be a good idea, instead of plugging your microphone into the USB port directly in your computer, buy a powered USB hub and do it that way, because you will probably get better grounding from a powered USB hub. I'm not actually using one myself. I probably should buy one. I do use a certain amount of noise suppression to get rid of the sort of hum/whine that I get in my mic audio, just so that I can mostly get rid of it. But yeah, it probably is a good idea. Another thing, if you happen to be recording using a laptop, you can sort of get around this problem, get around this ground hum that you get from the mains, by recording without having your laptop plugged into the charger. Because then it'll be running off the battery, and power from the battery, there's no hum associated with that. There's no ground hum. That's basically it. Just to sum up, you want the microphone average, the average volume level to hover around -18, as you can see that it is here. You don't want it peaking much above -6 ever. And you want the gain on the microphone set to the lowest it will go. Put the mic in cardioid mode, and you'll have to fiddle around with this slider for recording volume until you get the sort of results I'm getting, the sort of volume I'm getting here. So that's basically it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope this video was useful. If it did, do please click the like button. It helps out rather a lot. Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comment section below, and any questions you might have. Share this video with anyone you think it might be useful to, and subscribe if and only if you'd like to see more. Ta-ta for now.